You've probably heard the advice 100 times. Your inner critic is sabotaging you. Or maybe it's you need to uncover that hidden story that's holding you back. It's powerful. It really sounds powerful, doesn't it? Like if you could just decode the right script inside your head, everything would finally fall into place. But here's the problem. Chasing down those hidden narratives rarely leads to change. Instead, it keeps people stuck in a cycle of endless self-analysis. Replay the conversations, dissect your inner monologue, look for the real reason behind every action, and before you know it, you spent more time trying to fix your self-talk than actually living the life you want. At SimLab, we look at it differently. What if your self-talk isn't broken at all? What if the key to change isn't about silencing your inner critic or rewriting every thought, but about noticing what you're capable of already doing? Those small, ordinary actions that prove that you are able to make change right now. That's what this episode of the SimLab podcast is about. We're going to bust the myth that you have to fix your self-talk before you can move forward, and show you how a solution-focused approach can bypass the analysis trap, build momentum, and make change feel lighter and more possible than you've ever been led to believe. Before we do that, I want to remind you to like and subscribe to this video. We're trying to hit our first 100 subscribers milestone. It's a big milestone, and we're just 13 away. We talk about solution-focused approach every week so you can have more energy, focus, and resilience for a long health span. So you can do more of the things you like to do and want to do with the people you want to do today. So now let's get started. Dr. Teplow, why do you need to fix your self-talk to change? Why don't you need to?
I like the why do you? I want that one. Actually, you don't.
you don't. Well, why don't you?
You know what? Because you can't. That's just it. I know, there is evidence-based cognitive behavioral therapy. There's motivational interviewing where we're reframing, we're paraphrasing, we're continuing the paragraph, etc. The fact is that your mind just has a life of its own and a mind of its own. And no matter how much you do to change how you look at things, your mind's always going to be going. It's just a fact of evolution. Of course, you can say, instead of saying, I'm terrible at remembering people's names, of course, you can reframe and say, I've been terrible till now, or so far I haven't been able to, or, in this context, I'm really bad.
In fact, we like those words. Those are really helpful. Those little phrases that they just open up the door for possibility.
Exactly. They aren't the place to start, though. And that's the thing. And what's funny is that we do teach that. We teach our eight magic words. People have loved it. And as we see their effects, it's very powerful. The question is, when do you do it? In what context? And I think that that's the thing about self-talk also, is that it can be going through your mind. But ultimately, we are human beings in the world acting. And ultimately, what we want is to do things differently. It always comes down to behavior. What was that joke? No, it wasn't. No, it was about, it was Jimmy Carter and something about lust. I think it was in his mind. It's like, you can think about it, but don't act on it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I might have gotten that wrong.
No.
What? Okay. Yeah. And the thing is that your thoughts can do all sorts of things. You can be thinking all sorts of things. But if you want to lose weight, you can think I'm a fat slob, I'll never do it. At the same time, you could also decide, no, I'm not going to eat the Twinkie. I'm going to eat the carrot, because it's behavior ultimately that makes the difference in your life.
Actions speak louder than words, and even your inner words, right?
Exactly. Actions speak louder. So, we have this example of fake it till you make it. You don't have to, if you want to be if you want to be a swimmer, then act like a swimmer. You may not feel like a swimmer, but go swimming every day. You'll be the swimmer.
So that reminds me of the argument, though, that we hear is it feels inauthentic to do that. Because like you just said, you're doing the action, but you don't feel it. So that feels inauthentic.
Oh, man, I don't even have a response to that. What do you think?
Well, the way I think about it is that, again, the actions are more important than the thoughts. So if if you are doing the actions, that's really what is authentic. Is That's what is authentic. So I think that's again goes back to the self talk, not being needing to have that reason why you're thinking that way or trying to solve why you're thinking that way, is that the authenticity is in the action, not in the thought.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I really like that. And when we are authentic, what does that mean? Doesn't it mean that we have integrity, that we are acting on the core values? We are embodying the beliefs that we hold, sacrosanct or sacred. So it's really the doing. And you mentioned feeling. It doesn't feel authentic.
Hmm.
And I love the analogy. What are feelings? Don't really control our feelings. It's like our mind, they come and go. And I think that the solution focused, I think, luminary at our time, Terry Pichot, has a great metaphor for feelings. She said, it's like the weather. It comes and goes, but our core self, our values, our sense of our capacity to be effective in the world, that who we are is constant. That's like the sky. And our feelings just come and go. And so when we say, "Oh, I don't feel authentic," that's just like the weather, it's cloudy. But what's the sky? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's in the doing. And that's really where behavior change that we talk about is in the doing. Whenever we feel that anxiety of the future or what you might have to be doing, or depression of the past or what you did before that, or even the self talk from I can't do this, I never can do this. It's in the doing that you get out of that. It's in that action, even the smallest thing you can do. That's where you are able to be authentic, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and it's the smallest thing, and I think the other thing, or the misperception is, and we hear this all the time, if only I understood, I just want to get insights and understand, but who knows? We don't, our reality is shaped by, by today or what we're thinking about today. Reality, is just through the kind of through the eyes of the beholder. And so we may never understand. We may never have the insights. Question is, what are you going to do about it? And moreover, and what do you want your life to be like? Who do you want to be? How do you want to live?
Yeah, the analysis of why you're having it gets interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
At the same time, there's so many factors that are coming at you, things that are evolutionary or historical in your family and the people around you that you'll never know. And the increasing amount of information that we have flowing at us, who knows why and how we have these thoughts and feelings. They're so random in some cases. And so really, how do you move forward? What do you do and to create that life you want to have and the values that you want to show up as? That's what is the authenticity. It's not, I like this really question, how I don't feel authentic, because it comes up a lot that I feel imposter syndrome is I think tied to that, and it's really in the doing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that, we may never figure it out. It is about the doing. There was one, yeah, and I know what I wanted to add is that it is interesting. It's fascinating, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting to, seek that understanding and gain those insights. Write your memoir. That's great. But when we talk about what do we want to do? How do we want to live? How can we live, you know, in a way that gives us that lifespan we want? Then it's talking about behavior. So where do we start? And you mentioned the word small. And I think that that also has its drawbacks of, okay, so what's the smallest thing I can do? Because without a destination, you can talk about small behaviors all you want, but you have to know where you're going. I think that is one of the beauties of solution focus practice is that we start at the end instead of trying to climb the wall and fix things um, and the struggle to get somewhere. Usually people know where they don't want to go. I don't want to overeat. I don't want to be, feel so tired all the time. And so with solution focused practice, we're talking about the destination first. What do you do you want your life to be like in that better future? What will you be doing differently? And so we help people paint a very detailed, vivid description of what that better future will be like. And then we can backtrack.
Now, when you do that, paint that future, isn't that a form of self-talk in itself? It's because you're painting that future. You're telling yourself this story that you want to live.
Yeah, that may be. I hadn't thought about that because usually when we talk about self-talk, it's all about correcting it and fixing it. And we
Right.
pathologize the self-talk, so we have to fix it because somehow it's broken. It's going to keep us back
But
in
I
a
look at it as
way.
like a form of visualization,
Yeah,
and, when we're doing performance of some sort to prepare for that, it's that visualization, that conversation that we're having that projects us into that future so that we already have experienced that, so that we've talked about it in our own self, repeated itself multiple times.
yeah. And you know what? I love our conversations because I think you made a big point that isn't that self-talk? No. I mean, I don't when we talk about self-talk, it's usually those unconscious messages we're giving ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of. I'm just lazy. I'm just a procrastinator. I never get
But if you're
something done.
intentional about it, if you're
What?
intentional about your self-talk, if you're intentional about what you're saying in your head, then you don't say it's self-talk?
Um, I don't know. Let me let me just dodge that bullet for a moment and say something
Okay.
else. Maybe this will make sense. I don't know if I'll have an answer. And this is the fun thing about solution focused practice is we're just experimenting to see what works, and it can go for your ideas too. Here's the thing. I think about self-talks like, yes, we could be intentional. We can say, no, I'm not bad at names. I actually, I'm so far I'm bad at names, but that doesn't mean I can't get better. It's all about identity. But here's the thing. In solution focus, we're not talking our talk when we're visualizing and mentally rehearsing what our better future. It's not about who we are. Oh, I'm strong. I can do this. It doesn't have to do it. It's what are we doing? And when we get down to the vivid, detailed description is when I, in my better future, instead of overeating, I set my plate. I set my, X number of, that portion size of this and that portion size of that. I eat slowly. Notice it's a description about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. It has nothing to do about my traits, I'm strong, or in essence,
Mm.
my identity. And I think that's the difference between what I think of when I think of self-talk and what people are talking about self-talk. And it's evaluative and it's judging. "Oh, you're a lazy bum." No, I'm not a lazy bum. You have to change that self-talk. In solution focus, we're not talking about judgment or evaluation. We're talking about doing and how we do it. So it's what we're doing and how we're doing it. And that makes all the difference because we get rid of the shame and the guilt and am I good? Am I bad? It's no. In your better future, when you have the kind of calm and peace that you dream of in the context of a work situation where there's conflict, what are you doing differently? What's even the tiniest thing you'd see yourself doing that tells you, now I have the kind of calm and focus and peace I really want when I'm in a charged situation of work? And so it's not about who we are or, anything like that. The self-talk, it's describing the person that we will be in that preferred future.
It's the
Does that make
doing,
sense?
yeah, it's the doing in the future that we're really trying to solidify. What are we doing? What's the environment look like? What are we doing? It's again goes back to the behaviors.
Yes. And here's the other thing. It's set in our social context. We're we're social animals. We're human beings. What do other people see? What do they notice? The tiniest thing that they notice in us that tells us something's shifted, something's changed. It has nothing to do with self-talk. It's the doing again.
So I want to reel back though again to self-talk with the benefits of self-talk a little bit. So you talked about the magic words that we use right now so far at least, and adding those to any limiting sentence that we think in our head to help do that shift. It's not really analyzing why we're thinking that. It's just tagging that on so we are able to shift and open up that possibility.
Right. Right. And I think that it can also come about in certain ways organically. So, for instance, in Solution Focus, we talk about exceptions. So, if I'm bad at remembering names, I can think, well, when was a time when I actually did remember somebody's name? So, we're looking for exceptions to the problem. Well, actually, I remember I met somebody. Actually, it was my neighbor. I never met before. He introduced himself. I'm Lewis with an L. Like, what? He says, yeah, that way people will never forget my name. So then
Hmm.
I can think to myself, well, and here's self talk. Yeah, I'm bad at remembering names most of the time. Ah, there's a qualifier. That's changing the self talk most of the time, but I do remember. Ah, now we're looking at exceptions. So we're not evaluating or judging ourselves. So it
Hmm.
comes, so that kind of a, shift in language. I don't want to say a reframe. I want to say a
Yeah.
shift in language where we're opening up possibilities occurs more organically. It
Yeah.
evolves from the process of noticing when things aren't quite as bad. And we say, well, yeah, I overeat all the time. Well, except on Mondays when I'm doing this or that. And so then just that behavior helps us shift our thinking, which then automatically changes what we're telling ourselves.
Yeah. I think of self talk, particularly when I'm working when I'm running, as we know, preparing for my marathon that I have. And, when you're doing these long distances, especially in races, self talk is happening. I mean, it's happening because you're just left with your thoughts. And so there's not really an analysis. I feel like for me, I try to keep in the race by saying, is that helping me or serving me or not serving me, serving me or not serving me? That's just basically the statement. I keep saying, nope, not serving me, moving it away, serving me. Because like you said, the thoughts are like this wind and this and the clouds, they're coming and going. And so is it serving my sky, that person I'm trying to be? And so it's just a very simple rubric: serving me or not serving
Uh,
me.
yeah, I love that rubric because it doesn't take a lot of analysis.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot of analysis and it doesn't take insight. Is this moving me towards where I want to be or not? It's pretty
Does
simple.
connect with the doing. It directly connects with the doing.
Absolutely. It's connected to the doing. Right. And it's not to say that we don't want to recognize feelings and thoughts. They're all linked. But the problem is when most people get stuck and people were talking about changing their self-talk, they get stuck. It's because they're consumed with the thinking or the feeling and they aren't looking at, wait, what do I want to be doing differently? And so that's where we start this. Regardless, it may take a long time to change your self-talk. I mean, that's why, cognitive behavioral therapists are in business. I mean, but I don't want to dismiss. Of course, it's
Yeah,
evidence-based
there's
help
value to
to
it. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
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 especially if it's very maladaptive and you're struggling with
absolutely,
it, and it's preventing you from the
absolutely,
doing.
yeah, absolutely. And so we want to balance all of that, all of those, the thinking, the being, and the feeling. And that's where it's the doing, it's the acting where people, that I think that suffers when we're so consumed with that, how we're feeling or what we're thinking.
Yeah.
And I think that, so that's one of the features of solution focus is to balance all that. And so we say, and so, when you are in your better future and you're able to have that good, portion control, the portion control that you want that's right for you, what do you notice? Then the person will come, well, I'd feel X or I'd be thinking this, but it starts from behavior.
Well, I think that's a fantastic place for us to wrap up. If today's episode resonated with you, and if you're ready to move beyond willpower and align your behavior change with your identity, we invite you to join us inside Stamina Lab, whether it's through our core health group coaching membership or one of our 14-day health quests. We have a self-talk quest, mastery quest coming up. So we're going to delve deep into all these subjects and more. We're here to help you become the person you are already on the path to being. And please, again, like I said, please hit like, subscribe. We're so close to our 100 subscriber milestone. It's a big deal for us. So please hit that. Like I said, we talk about solution focused strategies every week. And yeah, we have 29 laws of resilience that can help you. We'll have the link in the show notes that we really would love for you to download. It's a fantastic guide. And if you want to learn more about our unique solution focused approach, book a complimentary coaching session and visit staminalab.io and leave any questions or comments below. We'd love to answer those. Thank you, Dr. Teplow.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone for listening. Until next time, remember, you are your own lab, you are your own experiment, and you are your own best coach. Be well.